Welcome to the Home Improvement Therapist Show. I am Rennie Gonzalez, your host here on Madhouse TV. I have been involved in home improvements ever since I was a child, very, very young. My father, being a glazier a glazier contractor by trade, would take my brother and I to most of his projects. He would have us do all little odds and ends. And growing up, I've observed other trades. I've observed home improvement contractors and homeowners and the way they would kind of have all their experiences and try to get a project completed. So after observing all this, I said, you know what? All these things that are going on between a home improvement contractor and a homeowner, I would like to put this on a show. I would like to somehow put this together and see what are all the ups and downs that everyone has by completing a project. The home improvement therapist, although I took some courses in psychology, I'm not a therapist by any means, I thought it would be fun and right to the point where I would like to interview contractors and get their side of the story of how a project can either go extremely smooth or somehow or sometimes it doesn't go exactly the way it was promised, and why didn't it, and what are the reasons behind that. And I would also like to interview the other side of the coin, which is the homeowner, and what exactly happened and how can we get around it. And that's what this show is all about. I am going to shed light on the contractors that are extremely proud of what they do. They take a lot of pride on their work. And this is a show that I will try to educate the consumer on how to pick out the right contractor so that these negative ideas and the project at the end does not start going downhill. And like some of us know, either you end up in court or you end up settling with the contractor and everybody's happy, but at the end, somebody loses. At this moment, I have a guest, it's a contractor. He's Kit Bigelow, and he is from a company called Love Your Old House. I've worked with him on a few projects. Customers love him. Some of these projects are so detailed that I had to have him on the show and talk to him. And here he is. Welcome, Kit.
Thank you, Ren. Appreciate it.
All right. So, Kit, I mean, as far as we can start getting into the show and start getting into projects, but your background, I mean, how did you actually get into contracting?
Great question. As a high school graduate, I started studying architecture. I have an uncle who's an architect, and
nice.
I greatly admire him. Like your
All
father,
right,
who's
all
in the
right.
business, I have an
Right.
uncle who I looked after. And after 2 years of studying architecture, I came home from college and got a job framing houses on the east end of Long Island. And it was a really great opportunity for me because I got to see the practical side of building, whereas opposed to in the classroom, just seeing the sketches and the cross diagrams. And it was really fun to see it come
So
alive.
you understood these sketches right off the bat? I mean,
You know what? Not until really I got into the field and started seeing them, with my hands and actually doing
Really?
it. It made a lot more sense to me, and that's when everything started clicking. The passion just started coming out, and I no longer wanted to really be in the office and doing the sketches. I wanted to be in the field.
Well, that's the idea behind, I mean, the sketches, it's a plan, it's a concept. Somebody has to draw it. I took drafting in high school, and then I went on to college and I took architectural construction. And it was fun. I mean, yeah, you had to learn how to read the drawings and all that. And it was pretty intricate, but like you were saying, I mean, you see the drawings and actually making it come to life.
Yeah,
and
seeing
then
them
that's
come
where
to
you
life,
took off.
that's where really my passion started to set ablaze.
So you could see a set of drawings and you can actually build something from that?
Oh, absolutely, sure. And here we go. This is one problem kind of that homeowners and contractors get into often, where the plans, you can't really see the life. You can't see the finished product in them. At least the homeowner may not be able to. And so there's the discrepancy sometimes of what's expected and what's envisioned, and what's really comes about, sometimes there's a discrepancy of what was expected.
And that's where an experienced contractor, the other day I was at a customer's house and they opened up these plans and they have all these ideas and wishes of how they want it to look, and it just, I saw the electrician, he was looking at it and he's saying that's just not going to happen. It's not going to work that way. Have you had that when they open up these plans? And
Yeah, absolutely.
It's dreams of all these things happening, and
Especially
it's
when you
just not
come
gonna
down
happen.
to the attention of detail, and there's real intricacies, and the higher end projects have the more detail. So not everything can be thought out in the conceptual phase, and it's actually when you get into the field, that's when all the ironing out of problems occur. And it takes, a talented contractor, somebody who's been through, a couple of mistakes or problems and can fast track it and get you back on track and work out those, those small details that you run into problems with.
Pretty good. So how long have you been doing this?
I've owned my own business for 8 years. I'm in my 8th
Okay.
year of business.
That's
I've
nice.
been-
All right,
yeah.
you went over the 2-year huddle.
We got through that.
Okay.
15 years, I've been in the bathroom
Wow.
and kitchen trade exclusively. We do have a small framing background that definitely helps out. But
Sure,
yeah.
sure. You got to know
So
what's
it's
behind the
about
walls.
a decade and a half now.
All right. And your percentage of repeat business, I mean, would you say?
Large percentage. And in this cutthroat day and age we're in with the competition, it matters a lot having repeat customers. Having clients come back to you and purchase again and again, it's very important. I like to take pride in the fact that I get a lot of referrals and a lot of clients stick around. I try not to do too much advertising because you don't know who you're picking up.
Exactly. And on the other side of the coin, I mean, if somebody's just looking at advertising, they're looking at, what kind of a better price can they get for the package they want.
Exactly.
And a package like, let me ask you a question. I mean, it's something that's always, you see those signs, complete bathroom, $49.95.
Sure.
Everything included. I mean, is that material inferior to other material? I mean,
Not
how
only
are
is
they
the-
cutting corners?
Sure. I mean, there's half dozen ways. Not only, and first of all, if that number does stand up in the end, we'd both be surprised. There's always some hidden costs in there, and you should always be, leery of package deals like that. So yes, one possibility is inferior building products. 2 is cutting corners, and 3 would just be tacking on extras at the end. All of a sudden you want a towel bar or a toilet paper hanger, and now
it goes
you're
more
paying
and
the
more.
big bucks for
that's-
small items like that.
$49.95. I mean, that's probably for what size standard bathroom? What is
Okay, for something like that, it's probably a 5x8 bathroom, and also it's probably including maybe an acrylic pan or acrylic shower enclosure, which is fine for a lot of uses. For a lot of homes, it's great product. It's not the high-end nature that we're used to doing, where it would be a complete tile shower hop-up, maybe a tile floor, a threshold of tile or a saddle that you would walk across, the shower doors that you install. It's not nearly anything like that.
Not gonna
those
be frameless
packages.
shower
No,
doors.
exactly.
But the tile
You're
can
getting
be
a shower curtain maybe with that type of package.
and then, well, then that's where it's gonna probably you're gonna lose that business over someone else that says, yes, I'm gonna get you everything you want for that price.
Yeah, and if somebody's willing to do it, here's where a lot of problems may occur down the line. Is the homeowner may not be clear in some of the building products that they're going to get.
There you go. And right there should be a flag for the
Absolutely.
homeowner. I mean, if this guy walks in your house, and I don't know if you've seen those specials too, but there's other specials that they'll do a whole bathroom in 5 days, start to finish. Can it be done? Sure, it could be done, but not the way exactly you would want it to be done, and with all the detail. And I've seen your bathrooms. I mean, you put glass tile, You make the corners fit nice, the miter. How much time does that take?
It is time consuming, especially when you're doing that attention to detail and it's a higher end nature. And just to make a comment on your 5-day bathroom, you know,
Right.
because I've seen guys offer that, and it could happen. I could get a bathroom in there.
That's all you're doing.
5 days, yeah. Now, a homeowner, I think they're going to smile about that, because a project like a bathroom, it's difficult for a homeowner sometimes. It puts you out of house and home. If you're lucky enough to have 2 bathrooms, you have that second bathroom you can retreat to, but it generally throws the house into a chaotic scenario.
You know what I've read? It's funny you say that, because that's at the top 10 most stressful things is home improvement.
Definitely.
The homeowner wants to do it, but they want to do it in a way where it never gets dirty.
Listen, when we're
It
shut,
looks clean. I mean, how
No.
could you do home improvement and the whole house still stays clean?
and here we are shutting their water down for a couple
Yeah,
hours,
right.
even if you have that other bathroom. There's a lot of juggling that goes on. And so when somebody's pitching that 5-day bathroom, sure, homeowner's going to gravitate to that. But the realistic nature of it is corners are going to get skipped. Detail is going to be forgotten.
sure.
And you're
I've
going to
seen
have to
those
make.
bathrooms.
You're going to have to make. The homeowner's going to have to make concessions in the end for you know, some things that he may not be happy with.
I've seen that. I mean, the way they make the tile line up, it doesn't line up. Toilet was not thought about. It gets too close to the shower.
Sure. And you know, even in we don't live in a perfect world, and you want everything to come out right. And even the high-end bathrooms, you'll have small flaws. And a homeowner, and this is a topic that we can brush upon real quickly too, is being a homeowner, you have to have some forgiveness. You know, you have to understand you know, the world's not perfect. Some things are going to be a little askew, you know. The job of the tile guy and coming in the finishing nature is to try to hide the flaws of the framing, to hide the flaws of the sheetrocker and the spackle guy.
Sure.
So, and that's a big part of my job, is to wave my magic wand over, you know, the product and try to hide all those flaws and make them not be so accentuated.
Well, you do the whole thing. You do everything from, you do the plumbing and
No.
okay, so-
In fact, as my career grows, I'm starting to see a more narrowed focus of, you know, a business plan.
Right.
We let the professionals in each various trade do their particular work, and that's something a homeowner might want to look out for, is the guy that comes in and is doing everything.
Jack of all trades.
Sure,
and-
you've
and,
heard that before, absolutely.
You-
I let the plumbers do the plumbing, the electricians do the electric work, and the painters do the painting. You won't find a plumber doing any painting on my jobs now.
That's interesting, and that should be another flag for the homeowner.
Definitely.
When you're interviewing a contractor, these are things that you should ask for. I mean, how much plumbing jobs have you done, electrical jobs? Because a project as small or as big as a bathroom, I mean, everything from gutting it to the roughing, electric. I mean, it does take a professional. And here you have a guy that will do it all, which I have seen, and he does a nice job.
Sure.
I have seen that. And a lot of contractors will not do painting. A lot of they won't paint. But I've seen your jobs, and you're very meticulous, and those corners. But you know what? We're going to hold off on that note, and we'll be right back.
My name is Dr. Robert Brevard. I'm here for Multi-Medicine in Westbury, New York. We're located at 1065 Old Country Road, Suite 214. Been here for about 15 years. The practice has medical doctors, physical therapists, chiropractors, acupuncturists. We also do pain management, and we have orthopedists on staff. Here at Advanced Multi-Medicine Rehabilitation, we've got physical therapists on staff who treat an array of conditions, from neck pain to back pain, shoulder pain. We treat carpal tunnel. We treat a lot of car accident patients, slip and falls. We treat patients with knee injuries, with ankle injuries. We have state-of-the-art equipment. We've been here for over 15 years. Vast array of diagnostic testing, from x-rays to EMGs. What is an EMG? It's a diagnostic test that allows a doctor to determine where the pinched nerve is. Cora is a physical therapist at Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation. She's working on Stephanie, who was involved recently in an automobile accident. Stephanie has tight thoracic and cervical musculature, and Cora is doing some myofascial release work and some therapeutic stretching doing it to help her with her pain. Vicky is also a patient here at Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation. Vicky is now working her leg muscles, specifically her quadricep muscles, trying to strengthen them after an injury she sustained. If you find yourself in need of any type of physical therapy, please don't hesitate to call Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation, located in Westbury, New York, in Suite 214. Phone number is 516-334-7000, or find us on our website at advancedmultimedicine.com.
I am Tom Mealy for the Harrison Law Group, and I have been telling you for years that getting involved in an automobile accident is no joke. This is what we do. We're not new at this game. If you've been involved in an accident of any kind and you go to a law firm that says you have no case, it's simple. It's because they can't do it and they don't get it. You need to call us directly at 1-800-INJURY-LAW.
YesWeCare.net is a 501c3 charity that provides help to veterans and their families. Please visit YesWeCare.net and donate in any way you can by purchasing our beautiful frame prints or relaxation CDs and DVDs, even smooth jazz CDs. YesWeCare.net. Remember, our troops are on their way home. They need all the support they can get. YesWeCare.net.
Stop the truck! Stop the truck! Thank you.
Welcome back to the Home Improvement Therapist Show. I'm your host, Rennie Gonzalez, here on Madhouse TV. So I have my guest, Kit Bigelow, and yes, we were talking about those 5-day makeovers, and we didn't get into the material of what kind of material they're using. I know we touched upon when you and I were talking back in the green room, if in the contract there was Andersen windows they asked for, and then you were saying something to me about, yeah, they could be Andersen, but...
Sure. Yeah, that's definitely one problem between contractors and homeowners, is the discrepancy of what materials are being provided and what materials they thought they were getting. You really try to lay out every aspect of what they're getting, from the width, the height, all the dimensions, the colors, but sometimes things can be forgotten, such as I've had homeowners purchase the window, and when it arrives, it doesn't come with the lock mechanism. And that could really throw everything, get tempers flared and feelings hurt, because now they have to go back out and purchase another, item. So it's unfortunate when those things are looked over, but yeah, it happens often.
I think we got a phone call. Somebody's calling in. Excuse me a second. Hello? Welcome to the Home Improvement Therapist Show.
Hi, this is Diana.
Hi, Diana. This is Rennie, and I have Kit Bigelow here.
How you
And-
doing?
Very good, very good. What made you call us?
Oh, I'm calling in to talk about a situation I just had recently where we had a burst pipe in our basement.
Oh, wow,
We
that's
called-
a tough one.
We called a pretty reputable plumbing company because we really weren't sure what to do, but thank God I had a good friend of mine that's a contractor, and he was able to come over and actually repair the leak before the plumbing company came. But what was really bizarre about the whole situation was we tried to turn around then and cancel that appointment and not have the guy come out, and we couldn't get through at all. And we couldn't get through for about 2 hours after we called.
So did he finally show up?
No, they never showed up.
They never showed up, and
They never showed up.
so here you have a
So-
friend that's a contractor, and I guess you kind of counted on him, and he came by and he did the job.
Exactly. So thank God.
So I mean, what you have something to say on?
Well,
on-
Diane, I definitely understand your problem, and I hear this from a lot of my clients too, where they try to call certain tradesmen, and sometimes you get them on the first time, and the next 5 phone calls go unanswered. It's difficult sometimes, and I guess what I can tell you is I wouldn't take it personal. I'm sure he didn't do
Yeah.
it to hurt your feelings. Sometimes these guys, especially in
or maybe he did.
sometimes in these winter months or in the busy months, contractors can get very overwhelmed. I hate to hear that you had a burst pipe, but that's one burst pipe. He's probably, that homeowner
Right.
online is dealing
Yeah.
with one issue where the plumbing contractor probably had 10 jobs he was running to. So, it's sometimes you can get lost in the mix.
It's her pipe. It's her
and,
basement.
and it's her world, and
It's
it
her
could
world.
be detrimental.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. Did it damage anything else?
Yeah, we wound up having to call the restoration company
One of
to
those
come in
restoration
and
companies.
dig out most of the sheetrock and
Really?
then dry it and put the germicide in it and then rebuild the whole basement. So from one small little leak
Yeah.
and about a 1/4 inch of water, we wound up with, a pretty big renovation downstairs.
Unfortunate to hear. I'm sorry to hear that.
So what actually did you find out? What caused the leak? I mean, the pipe just burst at a coupling, at a seam,
The pipe was capped off at the end,
right?
but I think because it was on an exterior wall and it wasn't insulated properly, and that's what I think caused it to just go.
See,
Unfortunate.
that's interesting, because the contractor before that, who probably put that pipe or finished the walls, closed up the walls, do you think he should have known to have?
Oh, absolutely.
Done
In-
something
in,
like
in
that?
this
I
case,
mean-
it sounds like that. Here in the Northeast, we've been,
Yes,
we've all
yes.
been, dealing with some cold weather this past couple months. So I've seen and heard a lot of situations quite like this, and it often comes down to, yes, somebody forgetting to put enough insulation in the wall, or somebody just putting up drywall before all of the cold air can be stopped.
Yeah, that's great. And Diana, and you had this personal contractor that you knew, and he came right away. But there's other people who just don't know contractors like
Yeah,
that.
I mean, if I didn't have a relationship with him, thank God it was a Saturday afternoon and he just came running over.
Wow.
And honestly, I feel that the better you nurture a relationship like that and keep those people around. Look, I'm in sales and I network the hell out of myself and everybody I know. So, this I network with him and it was great to have that personal connection and know I could count on him.
That is great. That is great. I mean, she's in
All right,
sales,
I-
so she knows that a relationship, you have to know people, and they have to be reputable.
Exactly. Yep.
Because your name is really what lasts.
Yep.
I agree.
And Kit's been doing it for, you started 8 years now, and he's been. I've done a couple of jobs with Kit, and the homeowners have really loved what he does. So that goes a long way. It really does. Diana, thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you for your call. Good luck with your basement.
And
Have a
if
good
you
night.
were to give anyone advice on what to look for to hire a contractor, what would you say? Not to put you on a spot.
Definitely go on recommendations. find your recommendations, talk to the people that you know, that you trust, and find out who they trust.
Very good. Thank you, and that's what we're trying to,
important.
it's extremely important. Thank you so much, Diana.
Thank you, Diane.
Good night, guys.
Bye-bye.
Wow, she had some really nice words there at the end.
Firsthand. I mean,
Something important that all contractors and homeowners should pay attention to. Sometimes it's the word of mouth, it's the referral system that really will, ensure that you get good work and hold people accountable. I think that's
accountability is
yeah.
huge. It's huge. But that last thing that she said too during that, regarding an ongoing relationship. It's not one of those things like they did your kitchen, your deck, your bathroom, and then you never see them again. Then you hire another contractor for another project in your house. I know a lot of contractors that tell me, oh, I'm going to do a small job for them. I'm going to do it perfect because they told me they're going to be doing their kitchen soon. So they're hoping that they're going to get that kitchen. So they'll do the small wall repair and hoping that they'll get the kitchen, and then all of a sudden they hired someone else for the kitchen. Has to do with money sometimes, of course, but people, if you always look at the cost over what they're going to do, the type of project they're going to do, then sometimes you do get burned. You do get burnt. I mean, I'm not saying don't look at money. I mean, money's obviously important, but you have a budget, the material, and just try to match it as much as possible, and also the experience of the person that is going to do it. Now, leading up to people like we were talking about before with that Anderson window, and they buy the material. Now, how many of those situations do you have where people say, I'll buy all the material, I just need you for the labor?
50-50 is probably.
Is it really?
Yeah,
That's
it could
a
be.
lot, 50%?
Yeah, and it does vary. There's
Okay.
some certain building materials that a homeowner would be hesitant to go purchase, such as sheetrock and stuff like that.
Okay, the rough material. Like
Yeah, and in fact, I almost urge a lot of my clients to purchase a lot of their higher end stuff, things that could go either way depending on taste.
Sure.
We both know some of these fixtures, some of these shower bodies, you could get a $50 one, you could get a $250 one. So I like to put the purchasing power into the homeowner's hands, makes them feel a little bit more comfortable, and then they can control their budget a little bit more. But to harp on, I think what you're trying to get at is we'll run into a situation here. We were talking about a door earlier. A homeowner will go out and purchase a door, and a lot of these doors come with brass hinges.
Right, sure, that's the standard.
Sure, and a lot of
standard.
time, lately these days, brass is kind of out right now. Brass is kind of faded away. Maybe it'll
Faded
come back.
away, yes, that is true.
The brushed nickel is hot.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Huge brushed nickel.
Maybe a bronzed handle
That's
or a
another
coppered
big
handle,
color. That's
but it
another-
doesn't match the hinges. So now we have, a design detail that's not working, and it could ruffle some feathers right here. And it's unfortunate that it comes down to that. But you got to understand, some of those details get lost. We're not
But
thinking
then-
about hinges when we're signing contracts. So
So that wasn't stipulated, and who changes the hinges?
there
The
you go.
contractor.
Yeah, generally
The contractor.
something like that to make everybody happy. $10 worth of hinges to make the job keep going smoothly. The
Sure.
contractor will kind of eat it sometimes.
But then you got to swap the hinges, and then if
Sure, it'll be-
if they're not correct, you know how you got to make the mortise and
Well,
all that.
here you go.
Who's
And
going to pay for all that? The
it's-
time and everything, and the labor.
Here you go. Sure, and it's the cents that start adding up to dollars, and it really could blow budgets. Not only are you talking about the purchasing of the hinges, you're talking about the installation of the hinges, and let's hope they go smoothly and go in one shot, and where you're not having to mortise or chisel out any woodwork.
And that's the difference between a reputable and a good contractor that stands behind his work, because he's not going to nickel and dime. But at the end of the job, maybe the customer can kind of say, look, I know you went the extra mile. This is what we can do. And on that note, we'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Dr. Tom Dow. We have a multidiscipline practice in Melville and Ronkonkoma, New York, and we treat patients with many, many different conditions, from newborns through geriatric patients with numerous different techniques. There's a technique and a type of treatment for every class of patient. We have them all here. Here's my son Thomas, also a doctor of chiropractic, working on one of our patients' cervical spine. This patient has had chronic neck pain for many, many, many years, has been to a multitude of different practitioners with little or no response. And with our specialized techniques, she has improved tremendously and continues to improve on a daily basis. We have two practices, one in Melville and one in Ronkonkoma, New York. We are a multidiscipline chiropractic office. What that means is we have chiropractors, massage therapists, acupuncturists, psychologists, all working as a team and a network of outside professionals such as orthopedists and neurologists that we work hand in hand with to help determine what your injuries are and the best way to treat your injuries. I have the great pleasure of having my son in practice with me. We work hand in hand, father and son, to give our patients the best care possible, and a staff which is loving, caring, and you'll never have to wait at all in our office for service. Many times patients come into our office and they have what's called a soft tissue injury. Soft tissue injuries are like scars inside your body. If you've ever been cut on the outside of your body, you get a scar. The same thing happens inside of your body to your muscles and ligaments. So our job is to determine where those are, stretch the muscles, adjust the vertebra back into their correct position, and then refortify the normal structure with exercise. That's what we do best, and I hope someday you'll come see us at one of our two offices. Thank you.
This is Beth.
Hi.
Oh, congratulations. When are you due?
I'm not pregnant.
Oh, look at that. Excuse me.
You're totally thin.
You look very sexy.
For life's bleachable moments, all it takes is 3/4 of a cup.
Welcome back to the Home Improvement Therapist Show. I'm your host, Rennie Gonzalez, here on Madhouse TV, and I'm with Kit Bigelow. So, Kit, we were talking about, again, with the materials, and the customers say, I'll buy all the materials, I just need you for the labor. Now, what happens? You're in the middle of the job. You told the customer it's going to take 2 weeks. They bought all the materials. Now they bought something wrong. You go back to the store, and the store
They
says...
definitely bought something wrong. Let's just say that.
And then what happens? There's a wait time of 4 to 6 weeks.
Oh, look, can I pull my hair out right now? No, you're totally, you're hating on something really big. It happens often. When you put them in control, they're going to buy something wrong. And if they, even when they don't, or even when they're trying to purchase, they're contacting you and calling you a lot too, you know, with a lot of questions. It's always easier if I just get it myself. But we like to put the purchasing power in their hands. You have to deal with it and just roll. And I think that's kind of what makes a good contractor, a great contractor, is being able to roll with the punches.
Absolutely.
And being able to, you know, jump over these hurdles that are placed in front of you sometimes. It's not fun when they get the wrong item, especially if it's a special order item or something that's going to take.
Now it's going to put you back.
Puts everybody back, yeah.
And here you have a bathroom that's been torn apart.
And
You
here
know?
you're maybe going home for a couple days and having to be, take a time out, so to speak. And this is why a lot of the contractors carry 2 or 3 jobs at one time. And it's more of a fluid motion where they can go to a job here, a job there. You come to a standstill or a halting point, you have some place to go to. And that
Sure,
becomes
sure.
also
That's a good and a bad.
A
That's a
sore.
good and a bad because
Absolutely.
yes, I've seen customers
They
tell
get-
me that, oh, the contractor was here for 2 days and I haven't seen him in a
They
week.
get upset about it. It's very easy to disappear and get lost in the sauce, as we say. Yeah, and relationships can sour quickly.
I mean, what is your average, your batting average as far as you're telling the person, it's when you're signing the contract and you're telling them it's going to take me 2 weeks and you actually finish in 2
There,
weeks?
I would say, this is an easy question to answer. There
Okay.
isn't a job I've come across that we've made the deadline. All right,
You're being honest. Being honest.
100% of
Absolutely.
jobs go over the deadline.
Okay.
And budget for that matter too. And it's just the nature of life and of the world we live in. Weather can come into play.
Of course.
You get a rain day, delays in materials, and here we go. We're talking about a large project, a kitchen where we're dealing with countertop guys, tile guys, plumbers, electricians. To have everybody there at the right time, it's just may not going to happen.
Like an orchestra.
Yes, it is.
You know,
and I'm
and-
the maestro trying to speed some guys up and slow some guys down. So
Right.
there's definitely problems that arise and delays that are,
There's a
happen.
lot going on in the back, in the scenes.
Yes,
in the back scene,
so
backstage.
inevitably jobs will take longer than originally estimated or thought about. Absolutely 100%.
So when this is one thing that maybe a homeowner should actually look out for when they're starting that contract, and the person, their salesman or the contractor, whoever they're signing the contractor with, and they're saying to them, it's going to absolutely 150% going to take me only 2 weeks to do this. Should the homeowner kind of use that as a flag, like, well,
They should
could it
definitely
happen?
got to give
not
yourself some
happen?
cushion. They have to
You
get,
have to.
they have to
You have
realize
to.
that life happens.
Yes.
Maybe their kid gets sick and they have to
Sure.
stay home with the child a day. Life happens. So all homeowners should be prepared for the job to extend a little bit past than what they originally expected.
So that's a flag because you open up walls. You don't know what's behind walls, first of all, right? I mean,
Definitely.
have you seen things change as soon as you open up a wall?
All the time. Yeah, my X-ray vision skills are still not,
There you go.
what I'd like them to be. So yeah, we can't see the pipes behind the
Sure,
wall. We
sure.
can't see the rotted wood. And it may not be a lot, but to run out to Home Depot in the middle of the day to get an extra piece of plywood that you didn't think was rotted.
That could be a couple of hours. Have you been
abs-
to Home Depot? I mean, the way they work
3
there?
times a day. I think our over-under is 2.75 per day. So
Is it
yeah,
really?
if we only go twice a day to Home Depot, it's a good day. Yeah, you're always
Good
running
day.
out, and it adds
That's
up. You know, the
amazing.
trips to Home Depot, the gas, the time, it all adds up.
So do you have any stories in like turning a negative into a positive?
I'm sure I have quite a few.
Anything that stands out?
And here you go. I think you're reminding me a lot of what it takes to be a really good contractor. And sometimes it has nothing to do with contracting. It's really, massaging, being a firefighter, being, a
Sure.
policeman,
Yes,
trying to,
yes.
negotiate problems. One particular problem that really stands out right now, and it was a big one at the time. We're doing a kitchen job for this couple in Sayville. They bought this amazing piece of granite. I mean, they really went high end here. This is one of the bells and whistles in their kitchen that they wanted to be a focal point. I urge all of my homeowners, and I urge all of you, to get all of your appliances to the job before it starts. If you're doing a kitchen
Great
job,
point.
get
That's a
the
great
fridge,
point.
get the fridge there, get the stove there, the microwave. You want all the appliances there. If it's a bathroom, you want the toilet bowl there. You want the vanity there, especially because there's certain specifications that the contractor is going to need to install it.
You could dry fit it, and then you could see exactly if it's going to
So
work.
here
or
we
not.
are. I did my due diligence. I got the homeowner to get all the
Very
stuff
good,
there.
okay.
We're ahead of the game.
Everything's
I
going right.
I looked at the stove, but what I failed to pick up was it was a stove that didn't have a back on it where the dials and the
like a-
temperatures. It was a
okay.
flat
Right.
stove top, range top, and the granite was supposed to go behind it.
Nice,
So
nice. That's
the granite guy comes. I didn't have the stove in place, and I didn't make him aware of that. So when he delivered the granite, it was two separate pieces without that piece going in the back.
Okay. All right. That's something that was missed.
Wah, wah, wah. Yeah, it definitely, emotions started coming about and surfacing. The homeowners were,
Was
caught
there a
off guard
deadline?
and, it didn't really affect the deadline.
'Cause
It
it's one of
really-
those times where, oh, my daughter's getting married, or there's
Luckily-
the big party
luckily
going on
for
this
us,
weekend.
Yeah, that's always the case. Luckily, it wasn't a problem this time. But yeah, I felt quickly was thrown in a role to try to massage everybody's personality and try to calm everybody down and come up with a solution that was financially, a good outcome for everybody. And as it turns out, the granite guy came and fixed it. They have and this is why we use each professional in various trades, because they know the tricks of their profession.
Did you know the granite guy? Did you have a relationship with him?
Personal relationship, we use them all the time. So
That's great.
It was
That's
easy.
key. That is key to hiring a contractor.
Actually, that was
That is
probably
key.
one of the bigger keys that got me through this little sticky
Sure,
subject that I was.
So
we're
what did
talking
he
about.
do? How did he?
He came in and he had leftover granite. He milled the piece to fit in there, and he used his epoxies and glue to make it look seamless. And as it turns out, if I had told him about the situation with the stove, he would have done it in the same manner anyway.
Yeah,
He never would have delivered it with
okay, I see what
the
you're
long peninsula, because it could have
All right.
broke. So he would have ended up installing it in the same
at
manner.
the end of the day-
But it was the fact that it wasn't done the first time that got the homeowner a little bit crazy and hot-collared.
So who noticed it first? Did the homeowner walk into the kitchen and like,
I think I noticed it first as
Okay, so
I
that's
was
good.
installing
That was good.
Yeah, hello, surprise. You're
Yes.
pushing the stove in and wondering why it doesn't go back another inch or two. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. So that might be the difference between, I'm going to say, a new homeowner, because I'm sure a new homeowner gets a little more crazy because they don't understand the ins and outs, to a seasoned homeowner that's had a lot of projects done.
Absolutely.
And
There
you can
there
talk
is
to them a little easier.
There is absolutely something to be said about having a homeowner who's been through a couple of projects, who has, been weathered by the storm, so to speak, and who realizes that things don't go always as planned.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, as a matter of fact, my niece is in the middle of buying a house. Just got married. It's going to be her first house. So hopefully she's watching the show, that things just do not go exactly the way planned. I mean, if contractors had a crystal ball, they could tell you all the ins and outs and the negatives and positives. But this is the way it is. I mean, this is contracting. It's not a perfect science. Sometimes I say probably operating in a heart is probably a little more perfect science than doing a kitchen
Possibly,
and a
yes.
bathroom, because operating in a heart, you read out of a book, if this happens, well, this is what you have to do. If that goes wrong, well, this is what you have to do. I mean, there's always something you got to do. But with contracting, you don't know what's going to happen next.
I'll totally agree.
You don't know what's going to happen next. And again, on that note, we'll see you in a couple of minutes.
Stop the truck! Stop the truck! Thank you. Dad, where do babies come from?
Well, there's Dad's big, shiny rocket ship. That's right, it's filled with babies. Babies of all kinds. And when the shiny rocket ship penetrates, Mommy and Dad goes, and when the time is just right, there's a space launch.
All systems go.
Babies of all kinds. Released all over the place. Yeah, Africa. Mommy's Babylandia. That's right, it's filled with babies. After an amazing 9 months, babies. And that, son, is where babies come from.
But Jake said babies come from
Planet Babylandia.
Hugo, play with us on the bus.
wheels on the bus
Go round and round, round and round, round and round. Wheels on the bus go round and round, all through the town.
I am Tom Mealy for the Harrison Law Group, and I have been telling you for years that getting involved in an automobile accident is no joke. This is what we do. We're not new at this game. If you've been involved in an accident of any kind, and you go to a law firm that says you have no case, it's simple. It's because they can't do it and they don't get it. You need to call us directly at 1-800-INJURY-LAW.
Welcome back to the Home Improvement Therapist Show. I'm your host, Rennie Gonzalez, here on Madhouse TV with Kit Bigelow. So, as we were saying, yes, new homeowners take problems different than seasoned homeowners. You know, something as small as, oh my God, the outlet does not match the, let's say, another fixture in the kitchen or in the bathroom. They're going to get nuts and you have to go back to the store and find the right one, and they couldn't find around. Where somebody that's been through projects, they'll say, all right, don't worry about it, Kit. You know, pick it up tomorrow and we can get it done. I mean, that's, have you seen something like that?
Yeah, again, I'll say a homeowner that's been through a few construction projects is definitely going to be more in tune with things that can go awry as maybe a new homeowner who's, you know, going through it for the first time. And that can even be said even in the shopping process. Sometimes a new homeowner, you got to hold their hand a little bit more.
Right,
You got to
okay.
walk them through it. You got to
Sure.
point them in a direction where they can purchase their items. Whereas maybe somebody who's been through it before, they know what they like, what their tastes are, what kind of colors
It's
they're
stressful.
looking for.
It really is. It's
Oh,
stressful
it's
for the homeowner.
Absolutely.
And a good contractor has to understand the psychology behind it.
We should
Doesn't
probably
have to, but
we
they
should
should.
probably pay a lot
They
more
should.
attention to it. You know, we probably get numb to the effect, and this is something for contractors maybe to pay attention to. Empathize with your clients. Empathize with the homeowners. They're paying a lot of money. Their house is being torn apart, and they're making decisions that have to last for years. So I understand, you know, how people can get emotional.
This could be a life savings for some people.
Oh,
And they're nervous. They want it to come out the way they have it imagined.
they've been thinking about it for years
Yes,
or months,
yes. And they haven't pulled the trigger yet.
Absolutely.
And finally they do, and they want it nice. They want to make sure it comes out right.
They want
to spend it once.
They want it nicer than their neighbors. They want it like they saw it on TV. Yes.
Yes, yes. Oh, that's a good point. All those do-it-yourselves, all those shows. I mean, does that come up a
All
lot
right.
when they're shopping?
Here we go. And I think you were on one of these jobs recently.
Okay.
Pedestal sink. For those of you who don't know what a pedestal sink, it's not a vanity. It's a sink that's on a pedestal and all the plumbing is visible.
Okay.
The homeowner, we installed it as per the specs we normally do, but the pipes were visible when she stuck her head around.
Oh, yes, yes.
And
Yes,
so
I've
she
seen that.
didn't get, she couldn't understand why she was seeing these pipes. I had to explain to her that the water has to be fed and dragged away. So she's showing me this picture of this pedestal sink that has no plumbing behind it. But what she's failing to realize, it's just a a studio picture. It's just a mock-up.
display.
It's just
A
a display.
it's just a display.
It's not a working bathroom.
Wow.
So yes,
Wow.
these shows on TV, these pictures on the internet, there's definitely can be a loss, a translation, something lost in what they expect.
So that was tough. That was tough. You had to actually convince her,
Yeah.
and she had to kind of like take your word for it. But here she has this picture, you know, and I can see that. I can see that happening with not only the pedestal sinks, but I could see that happening with a lot of different designs that they had something in mind. They had a picture, and that brings us to that point that we were talking about is plans. Something as small as, let's say, a small deck or
A small deck, sure. Here's
plans.
one.
Plans are key.
A lot of porticos. You see people attaching or applying porticos or front entrances,
Right.
maybe a little reverse in the front of your house to stop the rain or the snow, or just have
Sure.
a dry pad to walk in on. It adds a lot of curb appeal. It's something that you see in a lot of neighborhoods popping up. It's a small enough job where you think you don't need plans, but there's always enough detail involved where
course.
you're matching soffits, you're matching fascia lines, you're matching pitches of roof. You have a lot of givens in terms of doorway width. So there's a lot of design and plan involved in these porticos. So I urge clients to have as much drawings, sketches, plans,
Very good.
available for the contractor to
Absolutely.
get,
Absolutely. And you know what? That would prolong the project, because if you're in the middle of something and you know that now you're at that portico that you're talking about, for example, and you have the soffit going in one direction, and then you have, I don't know, do they have gutters on a portico? So,
Yeah, possible.
so now you got to stop and ask the customer, do you want it this way? Do you want it that way? What happens if the customer's not home? They're at work.
Right,
Now,
right.
that's going to delay things.
Absolutely.
What happens if the lines, it's not exactly the way they imagined?
Sure.
Now, that's going to stop things.
Sure.
Do you continue? Do you stop? Do you have to run back to Home Depot?
There's
There's
cost. Nick, what you're really talking about is cost involved now. Yeah,
course.
absolutely.
So plans is key.
And as much as we like doing custom work,
right.
and we like holding it up and saying a little bigger, smaller, farther, higher, the homeowner, when they see it up there, now they're struggling to make this split-second decisions, where
Yeah.
if it was maybe drawn out by a designer or an architect, it does add cost to the project, and it's unfortunate. But I think the small price you're paying a designer for a sketch or for some plans, you're going to be saving it in the long run on your contracting and labor fees.
And not even, yes, of course, use an architect or a designer, but even on the smaller projects, why can't the homeowners just sit down in their kitchen table, even before they even call the contractor, and sketch something out? Just take a pencil to paper.
Absolutely.
This is the way I would like it to come out.
Depending
and
on
then
their
go.
talent and ability to do that,
True,
yes.
true.
And even maybe one step further, which I implore a lot of clients to do, is show me a picture. Pull
Sure.
that page out of the magazine.
Absolutely.
To point to a neighbor's house which you like, that you're trying to,
Sure.
that
Yes,
resonates
yes.
well with you. Something like that.
Because it's not just a knob. Is it a square knob? Do you want a round knob, an oval knob? Do you want a knob with ridges on? I mean, it's not just put a knob on it.
Absolutely.
You really could get detailed, and if all this is thought out, the project just runs smoother. So that's really key to have plans like Kit was discussing, because it just makes everything easier. Now, of course, the other side of the coin, again, is they have these plans, and everything is fine when they first signed the contract. Now they're detouring from the plans. And it just starts getting really crazy, and they're going down a whole dirt road somewhere
Yeah.
where you're saying, okay, when do you say time out? This is going to cost more. There's only so much that you can put out of your pocket. What do you do?
You're touching on a few topics right now, and there are a lot of most projects we come across. The homeowner's mouth starts salivating a little bit, and he says, we could just do this. We could go a little bit further. It's tough. You got to pull in the reins sometimes.
Okay.
You're changing windows, all of a sudden the siding's getting changed, and then the roof. You got to pull the reins in. So You make a good point. You sign a contract.
Let's stick to this contract. There's a schedule that you got to meet.
Oftentimes you deviate and it does grow. And an important part, and I'll make this a real quick statement, get all change orders written, whether it's an email, and it's beneficial for not only the homeowner, but the contractor as well. There could be, discrepancies at the end when you started adding things, these extras.
Got to get a sign off.
Yeah.
A change order is a very good point, and a sign off that this is what you wanted, and there was an upcharge.
It'll keep everybody happy.
This was an upcharge. Again, regarding the actual job and what makes one contractor better than another is, how about the setup and the cleanup? Let's just talk about the cleanup, okay? Talk about the cleanup where you're finishing the project, the job is a mess. Were you cleaning along the project, or you just left it all to the end?
Well, here it is. The cleanup is a death blow for a contractor. It often goes neglected in the pricing, and cleaning just goes on for days. It really does, and you have to stay on top of it. It's a sticking point that could sour a relationship. You could work your butt off, do a great job with the crown molding, install all the tile perfectly, but you're leaving wrappers on their lawn, or some sawdust underneath the couch. It could really make things unhappy.
Okay, so that's another thing that a homeowner should do, is even as simple as that. When you're signing a contract, you ask the contractor, well, are you going to have a dumpster on the job site?
Yeah.
Do you have a separate guy that just keeps
And
cleaning
they
at
need
the
to
end
be,
of the day?
the homeowner needs to be thick-skinned as well and understand that there's going to be a little dust in their home during construction.
So these are key things that a homeowner's got to look at. Everything that, when you sign a contract, these are things when you're looking for a contractor. And I think today we definitely picked up on a lot of good points. Hopefully you'll see me again. Please sign on next Wednesday at 8 o'clock here on the Home Improvement Therapist Show with Kit Bigelow at Madhouse TV. Thank you. Have a good night.